You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Hinton versus Waddell and Waddell.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Mr. Hinton, you say that a brief affair with the defendant's now deceased mother resulted in their birth. You say you lost touch with the children after a tragic accident and have spent the last 25 years trying to find them and prove you are their father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Waddell, you and your twin brother say Mr. Hinton is a stranger who popped up out of nowhere claiming he's your father. You say you've always known that Mr. Walls is your dad and you want Mr. Hinton to move on with his life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hinton, I'll start with you. Why do you believe these are your children?
I was in Columbus, Ohio at a flea market. Somebody came up and tapped me on the back of my shoulder. I turned around and looked. I didn't recognize her at first. Then she looked at me like, this is Tanya. And then it clicked for me right then and there. So we did our pleasantries and we hugged and stuff. I said, well, why don't you come over tonight and we'll do some talking. So I came over that night and I talked to her. At the time we was talking, there was kids running around the living room. I mean, just running around like kids do. And so there was two kids, basically, a boy and a girl. One time, they both stopped at the same time and looked at me, okay? And next thing you know, the boy just took off because he was in his own element doing what he was doing. But the daughter, she ran and jumped in my arms. And I said, boy, she don't want to never leave me. Then her mother told her, well, she probably know that you're her father.
What?
He's not my father.
And that little girl was Ms. Waddell,
Yes.
Maryland.
Yes.
He's not my father, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Waddell, you disagree?
I totally disagree. I literally only heard of this man 3 years ago when he messaged me through Facebook and claimed to be my father. So...
You don't remember that encounter?
Not at all. Not at all.
She was only about 2 then, so she wouldn't remember.
The only thing that I remember is I do remember when I was a little girl and my mom let me go with a man who I called Mark. I didn't even call him Dad. I didn't call him Manny. His name was Mark. He just took an interest in me and my mother just let me go with him. We would just go to get ice cream. We'd go to the park or, then he would just bring me back. And I just remember one day that he just literally came and was like, this is the last time I'm going to see you. I'm moving away, and I never saw him anymore. And that was probably about a year or so before my mother passed.
So you met a man named Mark?
And it wasn't like a long time that I was even seeing him. It wasn't like when I say a long time, like years, that this man was involved with me, this Mark man.
That's not true, Your Honor. Because the fact of the matter is, once she told me right then and there, I took the responsibility. This is my child, okay? Now, mind you, I have to tell you a little element that at the time, she did not tell me that Marshawn and Marilyn were twins. So I did not know this.
Why would she not tell you that,
I don't know.
that we were
Even
twins?
to this
That
day,
makes
I
no
don't
sense.
know. They weren't identical twins, so it just didn't click to me, okay?
So wait, you claim you were there and you took responsibility after the mother said you the father.
Yes.
But Ms. Waddell testified that she got picked up and spent time with a man named Mark.
Mark.
Your name is Emmanuel.
Right. Well, I'll tell you the reason why I'm behind that, and it sounds kind of weird, but trust me, let me walk you through this. At the time in Columbus, Ohio, I don't know what it was a big boom. There's a lot of males that were named Emmanuel. I knew 6 people named Emmanuel myself. So I didn't want these people to keep, everybody in the whole city, keep interfering with me thinking I'm this Emmanuel and I'm this Emmanuel. Mark is my middle name.
That doesn't even make any sense. Like,
Mark
you
is my
gonna
middle
change
name.
your whole
I can show
name just
you.
because there's...
Wait a minute. So you're testifying that you are Mark?
My name is Emmanuel Mark Hinton.
Jerome, let me see that ID.
I went by my middle name in there because I just didn't want the confusion.
Even if you went by Mark, and even if you went by that, and my mother
This
told
ID says Emmanuel M. Hinton.
No.
Emmanuel Mark Hinton, yes.
Hold on. Let me go into the file, because this right here
Even if my mother told you that you were my father, when I was spending those weekends with you, why didn't I call you dad? Why was it Mark?
You did call me dad.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
Never
did.
I've
But like
never
I said,
called
you
no
was
one
2
dad in
years-
my life.
You was 2
No, I
years old
haven't.
going into 3.
You
okay,
told
that's a lot
me.
of things.
All right,
told
let's
me
get
like
some
that.
order because in my court records, I just pulled up Ohio Public Records in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yes, I do see you listed here as Emmanuel Mark Hinton, and you also go by Mark Hinton.
Yes.
So you are that Mark.
Yes, I am. Always have been.
And you're shaking your head, Miss Waddell. You don't believe that's the Mark you were hanging out with?
No, Your Honor.
As I was like, my family has always told me that I always heard Reynard. I've never heard Emmanuel. I've always heard Reynard. I mean, I didn't meet Reynard until I was 25.
Yeah.
So altogether, I was like, who is this Reynard? I've never heard Emmanuel. I've never heard Emmanuel. I've never heard how to, until I just got older.
Since I was about 16 years old, my family members have always told me that Mr. Walls over here is my father.
You've always been told Mr. Walls is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you do admit you were allowed to spend time with a gentleman named Mark.
Yes, Your Honor. And it was just me. It wasn't, my twin brother wasn't there with us. It was just me.
But you testified, Mr. Hinton, you never knew they were twins.
I never knew they was twins until shortly before the accident of her mother had got into a really bad car accident. Prior to that, that's when I was over there to pick her up one weekend, and I brought her back on Sundays like I normally do. Me and her mother sat down and talked, and then, because I kept asking her, I said, why do she keep saying twin? She said, twin this, twin this. And I'm saying, because they don't look alike, whatever case may be. So she said, well, Marshawn is her twin, which is also your child also. So right then and there, I let her have it. Why didn't you tell me this then? Okay? Because here's the thing about it is that something happened prior to all this. Marshawn was no longer in the household, but I let her have it because now you telling me I have a daughter, and now I have twins.
We're 33 years old.
But
So if you are our father, why would you wait all of this time? Why would you wait all of this time? Me and my twin, we grew up in foster care, and we were even separated. We were separated at 9 years old. Where did you go? I don't understand after 33 years why you just come in all of a sudden and you find me on Facebook. You say you were looking for me all this time. I've been in the same place.
Mr. Hinton, can you answer Ms. Waddell's question? You see the tears in her eyes. You see the pain. These two young people been through a lot. If you are Mark, why didn't you find them? After their mother's passing, what happened?
This is the thing is,
I remember
I was there at the hospital the night before she died. And she just started crying uncontrollably. And I sat down right next to her, and I told her I would take care of them. Don't worry about it. Because we knew that she was dying.
Well, you didn't take care of her, so why would you even make that type of comment
So
to
you
her?
have this moment, this profound moment with this woman before her passing.
Yes.
And you say, I will take care of them.
I would take care of them. I was gonna find him
But
some
you
way or
didn't.
somehow.
But you
So
didn't.
what happened?
The night, the wake of her mother's funeral, I was there that night, okay? I had Marilyn with me already during that day. We wound up going there to the wake together.
That's a lie.
I was at the
I was
funeral,
not
too.
with you. I remember exactly who I was with. I was not with you.
But anyway,
I
like I was
wasn't.
saying, Your Honor, I didn't have myself together. So I went to the family member who had custody of them. I said, look, I'm going to Cincinnati. I got a job offer. Give me 6 months. I'm coming back to get her.
And
Point
he never
blank.
came back.
Now here's the thing.
He claims that he was there. That he was there at my mother's death, but that makes me very upset. Extremely
there.
upset. So I feel like if you were there when my mother died at the hospital on her deathbed, and she told you she wanted you to take care of us, take care of me, whatever. Where did you go? Why would you just leave us there? Why did we have to grow up the way that we did? That makes no sense to me.
He wasn't there.
There's literally no excuse that he can give me on why he wasn't there, especially when he keeps insinuating that he was there when my mother passed.
He was at the
He was at the
hospital or the
hospital,
funeral?
you were at the funeral.
He wasn't there.
And then suddenly you just disappeared. You weren't there anymore.
This is what happened. Like I said, I asked the guardian, give me 6 months, I'm gonna come back and get her. It took me 7 months to get myself together, okay? I came back up on the weekend to come to get her. And I told her point blank to the guardian, I said, I'm here to get Marilyn. She told me, you're not gonna get her. I don't trust you, I don't know you, you're not gonna go with
If
him.
we're twins,
I was there with
at
Marilyn.
this point, he knows that we're twins, right?
My foster
So if
family bought me there. I had a foster family that bought me there.
But you wasn't there when I came up to get her.
If we're
You wasn't there.
twins,
Yeah,
why
we
didn't
was.
he
We
just
both-
why didn't he come back to get both of us 7 months later?
7 months later.
Yeah, why would you just say, I'm coming back to get Marilyn?
Because he was not there.
Okay.
I was there.
I'm not gonna take one and not take the other.
I'm a single mother. I struggle, but I'm not just gonna leave him or just put him in foster care, let him go over, A, B, C house just because I can't take him. We gonna struggle together.
You're breaking the cycle.
Yes, I'm
with your
totally
son.
breaking the cycle.
And,
so.
and
But there wasn't a cycle there, Yana.
well,
What's
well,
the
this,
cycle?
Because
You weren't
here's the-
there.
well,
It wasn't
Mr.
that cycle.
Hinton,
I tried.
Hold on. There may not have been a cycle for you, but you must acknowledge that these young people have been through
I agree. I acknowledge that as all. But
what
I
we
tried.
would not want any child to have to go through. They were separated and separated from their family. Now, with that said, I want to understand your testimony clearly. It is not that you didn't come back. When you came back, you say the person who had guardianship over them said to you, I don't know you, I don't trust you, this wasn't written anywhere, you not on the birth certificate, you can't take them.
She told me, you need to leave my yard, get out my space, I'm gonna call the cops. I went to family services and told them exactly, this is what the plan that we had. I am the father. She told, her caseworker told me, said that this lady had called us to say that this man in Cincinnati, claiming to be their father, saying they're gonna come back and get him, I'm not giving it to him. So Children's Services took the kids out of the home for whatever reasons it was happening, but they were all gone. Okay, so now, where is my child? I need to know where my child is. Okay, so I decided that I'll go back to Cincinnati. I hired a private detective.
What did that investigator come up with? What intel did you get from that?
Well, that private investigator came back. She had been moving around quite a bit, to a point to where somewhere on the East Coast, she went somewhere.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Even somewhere down south, I think Texas or something like that. Somewhere down in there, and a couple
I
other
told you
places.
that I moved to Texas.
Well,
I
already
told
knew-
you I was there
I
for
already
1
knew that
year.
before you
Your
told me
investigator
that.
didn't know that. I was only there for a year.
Already-
So I didn't.
Before you told me that, I already
time-
knew this
No,
stuff.
you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You didn't.
But anyway, I tried.
So once you hired the private investigator and you didn't come up with anything, you just left it alone?
I mean, I'm talking about almost $15,000. After that, I gave up the private investigator because, like I said, I just couldn't keep affording to do that. Some years went by, and it's like, I'm despondent because they are my heart. They are who I am. They're my legacy.
Well, your heart.
You know,
but
they're my
you
legacy.
popped up 3 years ago.
It doesn't matter
out
if
of
I popped up 3
nowhere.
years ago or
out
3
of
minutes ago.
nowhere.
That
It does
still
matter.
matters.
Yes, it does matter.
But I've always been there.
It matters.
I've always been there.
He just said that he had a private investigator or whatever. We were literally in the same city the whole time.
If they was,
the whole
I didn't
time.
know.
There's no reason why you
If I
should not
did
be able
not-
to find us. No reason.
But how am I supposed to know this?
If you were not on our birth certificate, whatever, if we went to the foster care, when you went to Children's Services to try to get us to whatever, and you say that you were our father, they would have easily given you a DNA test. It's not like they want us. It's not like they like hoarding us like kids or whatever.
Miss Waddell, I have to stop you there because I know you are speaking from a place of intense pain, but this is a very important legal lesson that we often have to explain in this courtroom. And when you are a man and you are not on the birth certificate for a child, you have absolutely no legal rights.
But couldn't he just go and say,
I wish it was that simple. I really do.
We were even on TV at one point, me and my twin brother. We were up for adoption. It was something that was called Wednesday's Child.
I remember
And they
that.
featured that every week. And we were on there multiple times. Like, boom, there you go. If we're up for adoption, you could easily, I want to adopt these
let
kids.
me explain something. I completely understand why you feel the way you feel. I do. But I do completely understand how he could have not seen you on TV. You don't know. He may have even worked during the time where they aired that particular segment. You just don't know. But what is so tragic and so sad, and I just feel so much here, is it was like you all were just on parallel paths that wouldn't intersect. How did you finally find them? How did you finally find them?
I'm not tech savvy or anything like that. It took my brother in 2015, and we just sitting there talking one day in the living room, and I'm always talking about them when they was her, especially her when she was little. And I said, I done tried this, I done tried that, whatever the case may be. He said, you ever try Facebook? I put in Marilyn Bird Waddell, and popped right up. Popped right up. I start crying like somebody just hit me in the mouth, whatever the case may be. I was crying so much. She was just, that's how I remember her, face and all and everything.
And so, Miss Waddell, when you got that message and it said, this is your dad,
Yeah.
did you feel like, I believe this? Or did you feel,
No,
who is this?
not at all.
What were you thinking?
I didn't think that he was my father at all.
That's where the main thing came in.
So why did you decide to meet with him?
Because he was so sure. He was so adamant that he was my father. And I'm just like, I don't know my dad. So let me, at least I can just take like this step. Maybe this is just one step forward to figuring out who I am. So I decided to meet with him. And then we just
Wait, you say you didn't know your dad, but weren't you told Mr. Walls was your dad?
Yes. We were told that Mr. Walls was our father, but he wasn't there either.
Oh,
So
okay.
I met him about 8 years ago.
So all of this time, you told Mr. Walls is your dad,
Yes.
but because of his absence at some point, you entertained Mr. Hinton.
Yes. I've always been told since I was about 16 that Mr. Walls was my father, even though I had never met him a day in my life. That's just always what I was been told from one of my older
I'd
siblings.
like to hear from Mr. Walls. I want to understand this. Stand up, please, sir. Stand over behind the podium next to Marshawn, please. State your name for the record.
Renard Walls.
And who are you?
I'm Morris Johnson and Merlin's dad.
You are.
Yeah. I know they're my kids.
Okay, so you do not have a doubt.
Right.
So what did their mother tell you?
Well, I was at work one day and her mom came with my job and told me that she was pregnant. And I said, yeah. She said, they're your kids. So I said, okay. That's how I knew that. So,
You just said okay. Because you knew you were in a sexual relationship with her.
Right.
All right, so you didn't protest.
No.
All right, so were you there with her mom throughout the pregnancy?
Yes, I was.
Did you know she also had a relationship with Mr. Hinton?
No, I didn't.
But you are testifying that their mother told you you are their biological father.
Right.
And you accepted it.
Right.
Miss Waddell, have you ever heard that anyone other than these two men could be your biological father?
Yes.
You have?
Yes. Yes. So
What?
these two
Who?
are not the only men who claim to be my dad. There's also 2 other men who claim to be my father.
What in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the men who claims to be my father, I know for a fact that he wasn't, and he literally just disappeared. I don't know where he went.
And then what did the fourth one say?
The fourth one said, I actually remember them, like the other guy. I remember him and his family. They used to call me Little Bit. I remember going with him and his family over his house. His sister reached out to me, showed me pictures of me and my twin brother sitting on this man's lap, sitting on her grandmother's lap, everything. Pictures all the way up till we were about, I would say like 5 or 6. She had pictures like for years. And
Pictures of you
me and my twin with her family.
with this other
With the other
father's
guy.
family.
Yes.
The other guy.
Yes.
They got pictures of you all the way up.
Yes. They have pictures of us. So we decided to.
And this is father number 4.
Yes.
So 4 possible fathers and 2 are here.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, one of them I did test, and it came out that he wasn't. That's
Was that
the
number
picture.
3 or the
That's
one with all the
4.
pictures?
Yes. Yes.
So he's out.
Correct. He's out.
Wow, this is a saga. This is a lot. Mr. Hinton, have you prepared yourself? Did you understand that there were 4 possible fathers, that there were 4 men that thought they could potentially be the twins' biological father?
Yes. Well, when we met up initially at the restaurant, she was there before I got there, so I got there a little bit late. So I walked in the door, and it was just an instant. She ran into my arms, and we hugged.
I did not run into your arms. No, I did not. You're lying. No, I didn't. I'm not just gonna run into a stranger's arms. No, I did not. No, I didn't.
Can I ask something? I do want to know something. I want to know something. I want to know something.
Run into your arms.
I want to know something, because this question is tugging at me. Ms. Waddell, when Mr. Hinton speaks about you, he speaks as if he tried, he speaks as if he loved you, he speaks as if he accepted you all. And there's such an animosity towards him that I didn't hear towards when you spoke of any other man that thought they potentially could be your father too. What is it that makes you so angry or have so much animosity towards him?
Because I have a lot of animosity and honestly a lot of resentment towards him because he just always talked about how he looked for us for years and years and years. We have been through so much. That's all he talked about, how he looked for us. And I just feel like you didn't try hard enough, you know? And the animosity is because on top of him just suddenly just appearing, when he did appear, I felt like he just was like, I'm at this time I'm 30 years old. He came in like bam, 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 like trying to father me, like trying to tell me what to do, like just overburdening me. And I'm just like, at this point, you just need to be my friend.
Mr. Hinton, I can see the pain in your eyes and the tears. What are you feeling? What is in your heart?
He's crying now, but I've been crying for 33 years, so.
I do believe he understands that part.
I don't think that he does. I asked him, like, I was hanging with him, like going up to Cincinnati on the weekends to spend time with him. I was like, this could be my dad, you know? And even though, I'm hard right now, I very much do want a family and I want to know who my father is. I asked Mr. Hinton for a DNA test and he refused. Now, this was 3 years ago. He says he did not need a DNA test, and I said, well, I do. I'm the child in the situation. It's not up to you to say. He said, I know that you're my daughter. I don't need a test. So he refused to get one. And I did tell him at one point that, you know what, since you want to be in our life so bad, and I think I was very vulnerable at that point. Since you want to be in our life so bad, I would really want a father, and my twin was a father. We want a family, so, we'll let you be a part of this. But then things just started happening, and I just started to feel like, I really started to doubt it. So I asked him for another test, and he said no. I cut him off, and that's why we're here. Like, if you cannot give me a test, I want nothing to do with you. You're not the only man who claims to be my father.
And now I get it. I needed to understand that. I have listened to.
If you're so sure you're our dad, why wouldn't you take a test?
Exactly.
That's exactly how I feel.
And that's it. And that's why it's so important. As we hear these cases in this courtroom, as I take this testimony, and as we try to be a voice for the voiceless, there is still that little girl in you. Mm-hmm. Now, because you were looking through life with that lens, which we know why you wearing those glasses. Those were the glasses you were handed. You see the world through this because of what you've been through. There's another side to this story that we also see that you probably can't, where this man is saying, I don't need a test because I'm your dad and I just want to be your dad. A lot of men in this courtroom wouldn't do that. They would be just the opposite, saying, before I do anything, I want the test. The fact is, when I get this envelope from Jerome, there's a very real chance he may not be your biological father. And he loses it all. So him saying, I don't want the test, is basically him saying to you, I am committed to you no matter what. I don't care. But I understand why you need the test.
That's what I told him.
And I have those results. What I want to make sure everybody here understands, based upon the testimony that was presented today, that we have in this courtroom 2 of 4 possible fathers, one of which has already been tested and is not the father. So we still have another man besides both of you who could potentially be the twins' biological father. Has everybody prepared themselves for that?
Yes.
Have you prepared yourself?
I guess as much as I can, because like you said, I could lose it all. Because these 2 here are, like I said, my legacy. This is who I've always made the man that I am, to make me be a better man as life went on. You know, for 1 minute, I was just a guy out there. And then next thing you know, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather of 4. I mean, that could make any man's chest stick out, you know? Mm-hmm. And if you are the father, all I ask and I plead to you is to be a father to them. But I will always be dad.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. When you keep saying that you're gonna like lose all, you're gonna lose so much, and you're always gonna be our dad. But you were never our dad. You were never there. When you were at their funeral, for you to just walk away, that for me is enough.
I walked away with you.
So
Miss
completely walked away.
Waddell, I do want you to understand.
I walked away with you.
He testified to the fact that he knows he blew it. He said that in his testimony. He said, I regret the day that I decided to leave the children behind and go off and get myself together. I know as a mother, that seems...
I don't understand that.
Absolutely. I am a mother too, honey, and it ain't going nowhere that my son ain't going. And like you said, if we sleeping in a box, we gonna sleep in one together. But that's not always the way it worked. And you are not very old, but you're old enough where there was a different culture and a different time. When a man like that would say, I'm gonna go off and get ready to get my kids and get myself together, it would have made sense. It would have said, yeah, you go get yourself together. Make sure you got a job, make sure you got a place to live, make sure you got all these things before you just bring these kids. Unfortunately, what happened is during that time, you all started this cycle that you could not get out of. And that's why paternity issues and secrets and sagas, that's why we do this every single day, because we know that there are children out here still hurting, just like you, because of things have happened, because there was no legal father of record for anyone to reach out to. I want to get you the answers. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jerome, may I have the envelope?
Oh, man.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because fraternal twins could have different biological fathers, we performed individual paternity tests on Marilyn and Marshawn. With that being said, it has been determined that they share the same father. In the case of Hinton versus Waddell, when it comes to 33-year-old fraternal twins Marilyn and Marshawn Waddell, it has been determined by this court. The father is Mr. Walls.
Thank you.
Mr. Hinton, I know this was not the answer you were expecting.
I'm sorry that we had to go through all this. And I just want to tell you, Mr. Walls, you got your work cut out for you, but you got 2 great kids there.
Yeah, I know.
They are great, and they're going to make you proud, like I've been proud. you know.
Miss Waddell, how are you feeling, hon?
I mean, I do appreciate, you stepping up and wanting to be there. I just wanted to know. And I really hope that you understand why I wanted to know. We deserve to know. If he would have just did this 3 years ago when he first popped up out of nowhere, this could have all been settled. Maybe it wouldn't be so emotional as well.
Listen, I do believe that there was genuine love in Mr. Hinton's heart for you all. And just know, as you walk out of this courtroom, you all walk out knowing that you are family, you are, related. This is your biological father. As I said before, he stood here risking the possibility of losing it all, and he did today. He did. So just find some grace in your heart for him. I wish you all the very best. Take advantage of the counseling and resources. Court is adjourned.